last 4 years. Joining me to discuss is the author of the 2009 report, Daryl Johnson. He now owns DT Analytics, a private consulting company for state and local law enforcement, and he's the author of Hateland, a long, hard look at America's extremist heart. Mr. Johnson, is the 6th of January what you envisioned 12 years ago?
Actually, it's kind of grown to the point where I never even envisioned that we would have these extremists storming our Capitol, even though we did have a couple of incidents earlier last year where these same type of extremists breached security at the state capitals in Idaho and Michigan. So, we were talking more about bombings and shootings, but it's grown to such a point where we've got large groups of people that are willing to, basically break the law and commit insurrection.
I remember talking about your report on radio 12 years ago. I thought it was taken out of context, but I'd much rather hear you explain. What were you saying and what were you not saying about the military back in 2009?
So specifically about the military, what we were saying is that, these troops returning home, having suffered, PTSD on the battlefield, being away from their families, coming back to an economy that was depressed, not being able to reacclimate into society, not having that adrenaline rush that they get on the battlefield, could be susceptible to recruitment efforts by these extremists, particularly militia groups and white supremacist groups. And we saw the same thing bear out back in 1991 when the troops came home from the Gulf War.
In other words, you were saying that the extremists would view them as recruitment bait. You weren't casting aspersions on the military. That's what I thought at the time.
Exactly. And unfortunately, one veteran group in particular, the American Legion, felt that we were painting a broad brush, saying that these, returning veterans would come home and be angry and actually join the groups willingly. So that's where, the disconnect happened. Fortunately, other veterans groups like Veterans of Foreign Wars understood the message and they did not take offense. But, the American Legion raised enough of an issue that Janet Napolitano had to apologize for it.
Mr.